Joey is cooking pasta sauce for his spaghetti. He brings the sauce to a boil and continues to boil for 5 minutes. He then reduces the heat and cooks on low for 20 minutes before serving. Which graph best represents the cooking for his sauce? So, he brings the sauce to a boil, which means it has to start at something. He brings the sauce to a boil. So that means our slope is increasing because we're bringing something to a boil. So that means we're looking at A and C right here. It's not B because this starts at a boil. Essentially, this water was boiling before he even started to bring it to a boil, which doesn't make sense. And then this one right here, and we could look at this as well. Temperature starts low, brings it to a boil, boils, lets it go. Now, here's the key difference. I'm looking at this first graph, and I'm looking at this fourth graph at the bottom. So he brings the water to a boil. He boils it for 5 minutes. He then reduces the heat. So right here, this is the part where he's reducing the heat. But if you notice that the temperature is below the temperature of the water before he started to bring the water to a boil, which in the real world doesn't make sense. If I'm bringing the water to a boil, even if I keep that water on low heat, it's still going to be warmer than what it was when I put it in the pot. So it's not this one here. And it's not this one here either. I bring the water to a boil, I boil 5 minutes, I turn the boil off. Obviously it cools down, but then it cools down to what it was before I brought it to a boil. That doesn't make sense. Whereas this one, the water is cold when I put it in the pot, I bring it to a boil, I boil for 5 minutes, I turn the heat off or I turn it on low, the temperature gets lower, and then I continue to cook for another 20 minutes. So the correct answer is this graph right here.